Well, off in the distance you can see a body of water. That's the body of water on the town of Graham Lake. That's where I stayed last night. And right now I'm along the edge of Rocky Mountain National Park. And that's appropriately named because, wow, look at all the rocks. It's been a long climb for the last couple hours, and we've reached this point. So I think snow is going to be a problem up there. I can kind of see the trail right up there making a switchback, and we've got all that snow that we're going to have to traverse. So we'll just go up and see what it's like. Well, here I am near the top. It looks doable. It's been okay so far. There's a couple critical places, like right at the peak, but we'll see how it goes. That's the valley I came up. Well, I'm almost to the top. Would be a long way down. Well, it's 4:30 and I've been dealing with this all afternoon. These are actually not very deep, but the ones in the woods back there, oh man, they were. Some of them will support your weight, others you just sink right in. And I'm not going to risk damaging my camera, but once I get past this, it looks like I got a clear shot for at least a little while. But it's been a slush day. Oh boy. Current trail conditions. Lots of blowdowns. Yesterday I probably encountered 100, 150. I'm sure I've encountered 50 in this first hour. The hour's not up. These are not too bad here. You can easily step over them. Some of them you have to go around, some of them you have to climb over. Also, this is the 23rd of June, and my tent was completely covered in frost. My shoes inside the tent were frozen. I'm in the Arapahoe National Forest, I think. And it's an area called the Never Summer Wilderness. And so appropriately named. That was very clever of whoever came up with that. Down here there's a bunch. These are the hard ones, the ones that are at waist or shoulder height. You got to decide if you're going to go down around them or under them or what. It's like a puzzle. And these things, this is tough wood, let me tell you. Spruce they used to make airplanes out of. And they use them for guitar tops because they're, and violin tops, because they're so strong. And they resonate real well. I'm not sure this is the type of spruce they use that far. So, it's a battle all day. But only about 120 miles I'll be in Wyoming. Uh-oh. Ah! My pack is hung up on something. Oh. Yep, it's caught. Okay. It's ripping stuff out of my pack. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this off. Well, I'm climbing Parkview Mountain. I think the elevation is going to be around 12 grand. So you can see the trail going up the mountain right there. I'll have to traverse some snow. I don't think it'll be too bad. And then it looks like it might switch back to the left, and that'll reach the top. So almost there. This is definitely the tallest mountain I've been on in Colorado, and it is windy to beat the band. Amazing views. I love the cloud shadows you'll see, and there's a little building up here, probably a fire tower made out of concrete. Mountains scare the heck out of me. They're beautiful. Wow, they can be absolutely fierce. So here goes a little 360. That should do it. It's getting close to 4 and I need to get down off this mountain. Let's see what's over here. Looks like they have a little windbreak if somebody needs it. Oh, somebody knocked the window out of it. That's too bad. Okay. Good morning on this 24th of June. It was a lot warmer this morning for me, which was nice. So, kind of interesting trail. And I thought I would talk a little bit about appellate courts. The courts where people contest their conviction. And appellate judges have lots of tools they can use to maintain the status quo, which in many cases means keeping innocent people in jail. It also means burying the truth and calling it justice. So one of the things they use, and I think I've mentioned this before, is procedure. Basically, There are lots of things that should happen at the original trial, and if they don't happen then, you can't bring it up again. And they call that being procedurally blocked. So for example, if you have new evidence, then that can be procedurally blocked because it should have been found before the trial. Another tool they use is called random error, which means that sure, a mistake happened, but it would not have affected the outcome of the trial. So for example, if the police are in their report say the paint on the wall was eggshell white, when in fact it was really ivory white, that would have no bearing on the outcome. And I agree for something like that. But in many cases, the appellate judges will say, well, that was a random error and it would not affect the jury's decision. Appellate judges have no business ever saying what the jury would or would not have decided. If that were the case, then why even have juries? We'll just have these brilliant appellate judges. In Charles's case, after the murder, they found really good forensic evidence. I mean, it just doesn't get any better in a murder if you have blood and tissue under the victim's fingernails. I mean, where else could that come from? Doesn't matter that Charles didn't have a scratch on his body, or at least none that the police documented. And if you're going to convict a guy and say, his blood and tissue were under the victim's fingernails, you would sure check for scratch marks. But they kind of swept that under the rug. But anyhow, the testing proved that Charles's blood type was not under the fingernails, and that pretty much eliminated him as a suspect right there. But the lab guy lied on the stand and said the results were inconclusive. Later, the head of the lab said they were absolutely conclusive. There's no way around it. The appellate judges said that, well, it was a random error and that it wouldn't have affected the jury's decision. But that's just one example. I mean, they truly want to protect the court's integrity, meaning that whatever happened at trial is okay. Too often that's their main goal in consideration of a person's life, or consideration that a person may spend the rest of their days behind bars, or a long time behind bars. That is of little consequence to them. These are people that live in poverty. They are on the fringes of society, and they do not matter. And the criminal justice system is designed in that regard. So you can go online if you want. There are a couple of sites it's confusing, it's not very clear, but it is accessible, the actual documents wherein Charles's current legal team presented arguments in favor of his innocence. Now, appellate courts can do a lot of things, and any of them they call relief. So they could set a person free if they wanted to. They could order new testing. They could order a new trial. Any of that. Rarely does that happen, at least not in Texas. That's appellate courts for you. And I just wanted to explain that in a little more detail. And I'll continue on. I got this done with very little huffing and puffing. So I've got about 100 miles left in northern Colorado, and then I'll be in Wyoming, maybe 120. But one more stop, that'll be in Steamboat Springs, where I get food. I got my last Colorado food pickup there. So, getting into some woods that somehow managed not to get too burned. All right, on a trek for Tarzan. We'll talk to you later. Well, I think I finished the mountainous trail with blowdowns and snow, and now the trail is on a road here, if you want to call this a road. But I had some exciting news, at least for me. Yesterday I was hiking through the woods and I saw a gentleman walking toward me, and I said, he was clearly a thru hiker, and I said, "Are you doing the Colorado Trail or the CDT?" And he said, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" I thought, oh my what? So he's been following my videos. And he didn't expect to see me out here. He was a real hoot, very forthcoming. He said when he saw my first videos and so forth, he thought there was no way that I would be doing this or make very much progress. So I don't know if I'll finish, but I'm not quite to the halfway mark time-wise, but I'm about at the halfway mark mileage-wise, so there's a good chance. We'll see. There's still a lot that could happen. But his trail name was Hulen, and in 1984 he hiked the AT, and he's also hiked the PCT. I forget when he did that. But last year he was going to do the CDT, and he got into Colorado and caught COVID and was really sick with it. So he's back this year to finish it up, and I certainly wish him well. What a super nice guy. He was having trouble with altitude, and his appetite was waning, so he had too much food, and he offered me some, and I gladly accepted, and I really appreciate it. So Hulen, go get your Triple Crown. I don't know if you could see those birds. Those were the cliff swallows. I had captured images of their nests, and there's a bridge there, and I'm sure they've got nests under that bridge. So that was pretty neat. And I'm on a 10-mile road walk to Muddy Pass, where I'll hitch a ride into Steamboat and pick up my package. It was 35 degrees this morning. So the first part of my walk was on a dirt road, and it was going with the wind, and I was pretty comfortable. But then this road cut back the other way, and I was walking into the wind. Even though it was very slight, oh boy, whew, I was cold. I had extra gloves in my pocket, and I'm glad I did. That helped a good deal. So not much traffic on this road, which is nice. I might have seen my first antelope. I don't see that well, but whatever it was not running. It was like it had pogo sticks on all four legs. It was bouncing up and down as it tried to get away from me. All right, I'll continue on. I am near the top of Lost Ranger Peak. I'm sure there's a good story there, but I don't know what it is. Anyhow, we're running out of mountains in Colorado, so I thought I'd give you a last shot of what it looks like in North Colorado. And that, folks, off in the distance, I believe, is Wyoming. There was a lake down there that I bet that's pretty chilly. There's some hikers that like to jump in those things. Now, it looks like they had a fire here a while ago. Lots of toothpicks sticking up. All right, it looks like a pretty rapid descent, and I'll have some climbing tomorrow. I think I'm about 33 miles from Wyoming. So here we go. Here we have the last segment of the CDT. They call this the Wyoming Trail. But you'll see the different uses: hiking, horses, bikes, and the dreaded dirt bikes. Oh my gosh, what a send-off. What a way to go out. I'm so sick of the dirt bike things, and no offense to people who ride them and stuff, it's just that it doesn't mix with hikers. It really doesn't. So I see tracks here. Maybe there won't be too much dirt bike traffic. We'll know when we get to the trenches. All right, pushing on. 42 degrees this morning. There was a deer this morning 5 feet outside of my tent, munching away on grass. It's kind of neat. I see too many deer back home though. All right, got some climbing up ahead. I'll be huffing and puffing. That is Columbine. It is I think the state flower of Colorado. And of course, it was made famous by the shooting at Columbine High School. So that's unfortunate, but it is a beautiful flower. I don't make a habit of taking photos of poop, but this poop is of particular interest. This is kind of typical of bear. So, oh, you can't probably make it out, but that is a bear track. So I'll have to be careful with my food stuff. I mean, I'll be almost 30 miles away, but we're in bear country. Oh yeah, I'm following bear tracks here. Yep, he or she was going along the trail. Why they choose to unload on the trail, I don't know, but in Virginia I've seen it frequently. Well, Colorado is letting hikers out in fine style. This is just what we like. Well, yee-haw! Buckaroos and buckarettes, guess what? There is cause for celebration. We have crossed the line from the mountain state of Colorado into the cowboy state of Wyoming. And there's only one thing left to do. That's one thing that all Texans do when there is a cause for celebration. That's take your hat and throw it in the air. Woo!